Alright, this is a really bad angle. My camera's all jacked. I'm having to hold my phone all upside down because of the way I'm sitting. This is part 2 to that Technocracy video. So, yeah. As I was saying in that other video toward the end there, with the only drawback of having a galaxy-wide government, sort of a solar system-wide government ruling all these planets, is that you would run into an issue with pretty much space pirates. You know, and space imperialists, like I said in my other video. I just went back and rewatched it. It was kind of funny. Galactic tradcons roaming space with their fucking pirate ships, nuking the hell out of people with 50 megaton nukes. Galactic tradcons, what the fuck? But anyway, you know, you can see a problem with that. That's about the only drawback that I can see, because you can see where there would be many a world that have been colonized. You could see a situation where these planets have they have all their own, like I'm saying in that video, but didn't specify. They have their own resources. They have their own oceans for the most part. Let's say if they're terraformed, they will have, or they have liquid ice. Not liquid ice. There's no such thing as liquid ice. Unless you're talking about water. Ice cannot be a solid and a liquid at the same fucking time. I don't know what the hell said that, but you can have a solid ice that can be melted down into liquid and used as drinking water. So, say something like Pluto, where they have those ice spires that go into the atmosphere, you could melt that down and use that as drinking water. So these planets have all their own resources. They have everything that they need to be self-sustainable from the rest of these other planets. So if one of these planets wanted to go rogue, they could do that easily. Very easily, actually. They could just go and pull what the Earth is doing right now and live off the resources that are on that planet without having to rely on the Empire at all. And they could just totally go rogue and rebel. So, if you're thinking in the long term, as far as this technocracy system goes, if you're wanting to think in the long term and you're wanting to think about the best possible system to have for space, you need to have a system where it's loose control over these planets, with just the bare bones basic laws, so that you won't have to risk anyone going rogue. Sort of like a space code of conduct, so to speak, with no real government. Each planet would have, sort of like a United Nations. Sort of like a United Nations. You'd have this thing set that this would actually function. Unlike the UN, the UN's a waste of everyone's time. This would actually function. It would be sort of a thing like You could see it with the UN, you know, they sort of, or at least used to at least try to step in and solve problems worldwide, and they were sort of there to watch over all countries, despite what type of government they had, and despite what type of leadership they had. And they were there to make sure that world wars didn't break out. They're there to make sure that countries don't go rogue and want to bomb the other one. They're there to do peace talks with countries that go in and give aid when aid is needed. Things like that. That's supposed to be their point for existence, but they don't do any of that stuff. It's just, they waste everybody's time, money, and energy. But, the hell? If you hear any noises, my mom's boyfriend's outside pressure washing the house. I was out there helping him a minute ago, and I got dismissed to come in here and make this video. I gotta go back out there in a minute, but anyway. You know, what was I saying? I was talking about the whole deal with rogue planets. Yeah. And I don't mean the rogue planets that go hurtling through space at 1,000,000 miles per hour. I mean rogue planets as in, you know, people that go rogue on the planets. To keep that from happening, you could do a UN style thing, like I just said, where you could have this sort of galactic federation or whatever, that you have this government that rules not with an iron fist like they do on Earth. We have all these different laws and all these different codes. You could have a planet with its own leader. It's not led by the same leader that leads everything else. It's led by its own ruler, It's led by its own laws. They got their own laws, their own moral codes and cultures, because that'll happen anyway. You take a group of humans, you put them off on Pluto, give it 200 years, imagine what kind of culture they'll have. You know, there's no telling what they'll be. Might still look the same, they'll probably look the same, but as far as culture goes, they'll be vastly different. So you can't just force your culture upon them and have this globalistic style system, except it's not globalism, it's solar systemism, you know. That would be hell on Earth, or hell on whatever planet that you try to put that on. You need a system where these cultures can exist on their planets without being intruded upon. They can pretty much, you know, they can do their own thing, have their own laws with their own leaders, so as I said a second ago. And the basic function of the government would be to keep these planets, to govern the planets in a way where they're not telling these planets what laws they can have, but they're merely governing, they're merely keeping these planets from going to war with one another and cracking down on things like space piracy and things like that. So, that would be a great idea, just to have something in place like that, because the future of space is technocratic minarchism, or whatever, something like that. Because, you know, if you're going to space, like I say, it's the system of the future. A technocratic government's the system of the future. Or should I say technocratic governments? Because, like I say, each planet's probably going to have their own system of ruling. I can imagine a scenario where, like I said before, people on these planets have their own governments. You have this sort of this agreement between all these different worlds that what they want to do is further their own advancement. I need to turn that back on. Hold on. There you go. That's my TV. I'm sitting across the room using my TV as lighting, you know, so I don't look like I'm sitting in the fucking closet like I did in that last video. But I was saying before, I can envision a scenario where you have something like that, and all these planets sort of agree to advance their own technology, and you would not necessarily share the technology in a socialistic sense, but people would share their ideas. You know, you keep what you invent, but just share the ideas, and at each planet, even with their different cultures, can sort of semi-work together and trade with one another and do that whole thing. And sort of be as if they are one gigantic empire, but they're sort of loosely connected, not really strongly connected by any means. They don't have the same constitutions, they don't have the same government systems, leaders, they don't have the same laws and moral values and cultures, but they still work together because there's one thing that they all want from one another, and that's technology. So, oh, you have the sentient AI? Well, I want the sentient AI. Okay, well, you've got that rocket over there, don't you? You want my sentient AI? I want that rocket engine. So, that sort of thing. It's like the future of bartering. It's sort of like bartering and sort of economics on Earth. I think what will happen is paper money will soon dissolve, and you'll have a system like that where you trade valuable technology for other technology. Hey, about that, like say, oh, I want that rocket over there. Not just rocket engine. I want the ship. Okay, you want our new experimental ship that can cut through it can go into warp drive, and it can cut straight through the fabric of space. Well, we want that new Dyson sphere you got. You know, the Dyson sphere thing with Tabby Star. But we want that new Dyson sphere thing you got there. Okay, well, here's your Dyson sphere. Here's the blueprints for this. Okay, yes, thank you for the Dyson sphere. Oh, and here's your rocket. You know, and you do a thing like that. Now you have access to the rocket. They have the Dyson sphere. Now you have access to both. Now you both have access to both things. You still have blueprints of the Dyson sphere. Now they have it, and you have the rocket as well as them. It's a gain-gain situation, and no party really loses. It's just a better system. There's no future for us here on Earth, though. You know, if we just stay here forever, there's no future for us other than it'll eventually become the world will eventually become overpopulated. You'll have a behavioral sink type situation, which you're seeing in other countries already. Japan's not breeding. You know, some European countries are not breeding children anymore. Populations are going to collapse. So you could have a situation like that, and then they fall back into dark ages again, and then we lose all our technology and have to regain it again. It's a hellish situation that nobody wants. We don't need that crap. We don't need that crap at all. What we need to do is we need to focus on going to space as soon as possible. You know, because this empire will one day fall. America will not be a thing forever. And when it falls, I fear that you'll get a Roman Empire style situation where, like when Rome fell, that was it. When Rome fell, the world went to crap, went to the Dark Ages again. Then again, it could be wrong though, because you have powers like India rising up that are very capitalistic, and they have a crap load of technology. They're like the power of Asia now, next to China. But and you got Japan too, and China, like I just mentioned, they're pretty technologically advanced. I wouldn't want them governing me though. God damn, that system sucks. You have, what's that other country there? But you have some Middle Eastern countries too that have pretty advanced tech. So I don't know. We may not get knocked back to the Dark Ages. It might just be this particular part of the world, this particular hemisphere. Because you can imagine, if America falls, Canada's still there, and we'll probably be annexed by somebody and take it over. Canada, I mean, what's our closest ally? Okay, Canada. If America was to fall, they'd probably come in and annex us, but that's a whole topic for another video. What I think we need to do is focus on going to space. When we get there, work on establishing this system. Do some tweaks in there, update some things, because I don't know everything. Don't listen to me. But tweak some things, add some things in there, remove some things if needed. Think about how it can be readjusted, and then implement it and see how it works. I think it would work pretty good. Sort of the space bartering thing with technology. My friend Cody had an interesting theory that the future of currency would be Viagra. That in 30 years we'd all be using Viagra, and extends as currency. I don't believe that though. Something about that does not seem right. But anyway, no, I'm gonna probably about to sign out here and see if I can get another video uploaded this evening, because this will take a little while. I got unlimited data with Verizon now, so I don't have to worry about the slow upload speeds of our internet, because our internet before took, oh my god, on our internet service with AT&T, it takes probably, man, 13 hours to upload a video. I'm not even joking. One of this size, it's like a 2 gigabyte file. It'll take 12 hours or 13 hours to upload. That's ridiculous. With the 4G speeds, it'll take, it'll take with the LTE, with a strong LTE connection, 4G signal, you could expect maybe 6 hours it'll upload, which is vastly better. It's still slow, but it's vastly better. No, it's not slow at all, actually. It's slow compared to my grandfather's internet, but which is where I'm going today, so yeah, hopefully we'll have another one uploaded this evening. And I wanted to, right before I sign off, I wanted to let you know about my new setup. I told you about that camper down sort of the front yard. I'm going to use it on the outside of the camper. I'm going to set up one of those, those glass tables you can buy with the umbrella in the middle. I'm going to get one of those, set my laptop on it, prop my phone up there or whatever. I got this thing from that I bought at the Dollar General. It's this thing, or I'm going to buy it. I already got one I got from somebody else, from one of my uncles. But it's this thing you can stick to your windshield. It's with the suction cup, and you set your phone in it to use like GPS and stuff, or to make phone calls on. You can set it up there like that. But except this one that I'm going to buy, I'm going to glue it to the pole that the umbrella's mounted on. That way I can set my phone in it, sort of tilt it over in landscape, set my phone in it. And then I can sit back away from the table, and you can see my full body sitting there as I'm talking to you, except for my legs, because you want to be able to see my face good. And if it's like way out here, you can't really see my face good. So I'll sit sort of off away. And I got a fire pit up at the top of the hill. Funny story behind that: it was a hot water heater. People that used to live here at this house, when they moved out, they left that. There's a tool shed way up there. I'll show you sometime. And it had a hot water heater in there. And anyway, me and my buddies took it apart, and we stripped all the heater parts out of it, so it was just an empty metal frame, rectangular frame. And I'm going to sit it down there and build fires in it. So like, if I'm making a video at nighttime, or it's like I do sometimes, or like in the evening, you can see the glow of the fire on my face, and also like up against the phone screen. It'd be pretty relaxing. I used to see the camper in the background too. So yeah, just figured I'd update you on that. And also, I'm growing a goatee, so yeah, expect greatness from that. Be like Matthias Nielsen from Mercenaries. I'll have 2 braids in it. You know, I can't grow good facial hair, not on the sides anyway, but down here, heck yeah. But anyway, just gonna grow goatee, no stash, nothing. So just a T, man. But anyway, I'll get this one uploaded. So I'm gonna sign off. I'm about to run out of recording time anyway. 17 minutes is all I can do, so it's 15 minutes 20 seconds. So yeah, gotta sign off and see you dudes later.